Living on Earth might seem boring at times, am I right? Well, this might turn out to be a fantasy, but in today's world, everything is possible. Welcome to a new Fly Me to the Moon video. What training is needed to go to the moon is the subject of today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed the video, and click the bell icon as well. Let's get started on this subject right away. NASA's multi-phased Artemis mission, which aims to transport men to the moon and beyond, is almost ready to launch. NASA is preparing its astronauts to spend time on the lunar surface as the launch date for Artemis 1, an unmanned journey around the moon, draws near. Intense preparation is required of NASA's team of 42 astronauts and 10 astronaut hopefuls, which includes landing Army helicopters, studying rugged terrain in places like Iceland, spending extended durations at the bottom of a pool, and practicing in VR simulations. Which astronauts will go to the moon is still up in the air, according to NASA. The Artemis 2 project, which will carry men on a test flyby of the moon and be the first crewed journey up beyond the low Earth orbit since 1972, will launch in 2024, the agency announced on Friday. Then, in 2025, NASA will send the first woman and the first person of color to the moon's surface with the Artemis 3 mission. According to NASA's lead astronaut Reid Wiseman, the Artemis program isn't over yet. The effort is thus intended to assist the first humans tracking out to Mars and putting off footsteps, as well as creating science labs and occupying another planet. To me, it's just the most awe-inspiring moment that we have had here at NASA, Wiseman added. Wiseman explained the components of the astronauts' training during a press conference on Friday. First, they are training to land a helicopter in the snow with the Army. "We're going to descend most vertically," he said, in order to land on the moon, in order to land on Mars. "We're probably going to be coming down vertically regardless of whether SpaceX Option A is building their human lander for the moon that we will fly, or other contractors are coming up to take the following missions." He stated that the intent behind landing in the snow was to respond to the "would it appear like it was completely white as if you were on the moon or Mars' surface. And it's remarkable how much you learn and how rapidly you learn only in a few hours in a helicopter." In the meantime, NASA took part in Pangaea, a European training program that helped them become ready to research lunar geology. According to Wiseman, NASA needs to plan how it will obtain lunar rock samples, preserve them, and organize them for use by scientists on Earth. He said the purpose of landing in the snow was to react to what would it look like to be entirely white as if you were on the surface of the moon or Mars. "It's possible for you to have blazing sunlight on your top half and complete darkness on your bottom. The way shadows are cast across the lunar surface completely alters the environment. In this virtual reality environment, we can spend 10 minutes there and answer 1,000 questions," added Wiseman. The Johnson Space Center's Orion crew training is presently being outfitted by NASA for another simulated experience. It will be prepared to fly astronauts aboard the Orion spacecraft by the end of this year. NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory is a very large pool where astronauts have been practicing for International Space Station spacewalks for 20 years. It's located about 10 minutes north of the Johnson Space Center. "We're now using a piece of that pool to simulate what it would be like to be on the moon for 6 hours whilst conducting research on a pool's bottom," said Wiseman. There are now 4 astronauts from NASA on board the International Space Station, or ISS, and their time there helps them train for their trip to the moon. Later this year, according to Wiseman, the agency aims to select the astronauts who will sail aboard the Artemis 2. The ability to dive into literally any situation, any technical need of the vehicle, to understand when things aren't going quite right and to understand when they are, he said. To understand when things are going quite right will be the agency's primary consideration for all of the Artemis missions. Beyond that, he added, NASA is seeking team players that get along with flight directors and each other. Wiseman emphasized the value of sending a diverse crew to the moon and said that the upcoming astronaut class is made up of people from all walks of life. Astronauts are necessary for a new era of space exploration that will see the first manned missions to Mars and the return of humans to the moon. In order to accept applications from potential Artemis astronauts that they could send to the moon by 2024, NASA has opened its doors. But in addition to having an unwavering passion for space, applicants must also meet 2 very important criteria. They must be a citizen of the United States in order to be eligible, and also possess a graduate degree in a STEM or STEM subject. You can apply if you meet the requirements, but be aware that difficult exams are coming up. Candidates take a long-duration spaceflight physical test as well as a 2-hour online assessment as part of the application process. After completing 2 years of basic training, NASA added 11 new astronauts to its pool earlier in January. 1 or more of these 11 astronauts may be deployed to the moon over the next 10 years. They are the first group of astronauts to graduate from the agency following the implementation of its lunar programs. For more than 18,000 applications, 11 astronauts were chosen, bringing the total new number of active astronauts at NASA to 48. With only 48 astronauts now in the active astronaut corps, more will be required to crew the spacecraft going into various locations and advance exploration as part of the Artemis missions and beyond, according to NASA. As part of a massive mission like Apollo, NASA used to have up to 350 astronauts on standby, ready to take the next space exploration adventure. 565 astronauts from 41 different countries have ventured into space as of December 4th, 2019. That's assuming that any voyage exceeding 62 miles, or around 100 kilometers, qualifies as space travel. You must first escape Earth's gravity by traveling quickly enough in a rocket in order to reach the moon, or 25,000 miles per hour to be specific. Once you are orbiting the Earth, you should activate the thrusters to alter your course and move towards the moon. You are now prepared to drop to the moon's surface and land the spacecraft after entering the moon's orbit. You must bring your own oxygen because the moon lacks an atmosphere, and you must wear a spacesuit whilst walking around on the lunar surface to protect yourself from the intense heat of the 2-week-long lunar day and the numbing cold of the equally long lunar night, in addition to the radiation and micrometeoroids that the moon's absence exposes the surface to. A launch window is the window of time during which the rocket should be launched from Earth in order to land on the moon in the desired location at a time when there will be enough light to explore the landing area. A rocket headed for the moon should ideally be launched vertically to benefit from Earth's rotation, as it helps the rocket reach orbital velocity. NASA did, however, allow for a potential range of 18 degrees in either direction from vertical during Project Apollo without materially harming the launch. Due to the lack of atmosphere on the moon, it's required to utilize rockets to slow the lunar lander's fall to roughly 100 miles per hour, or 160 kilometers an hour, in order to ensure an unbroken landing, and even slower in order to ensure that occupants would experience a gentle landing. The Sea of Tranquility was chosen as the landing site for Apollo 11. Ideally, the planned landing surface should be clear of significant stones. It's time to take the first tiny step and explore the lunar surface once you've landed there. If you bring a collapsible lunar rover, as the Apollo 15, 16 and 17 missions did, you can even hot rod on the lunar surface at up to 11.2 miles per hour. While there, you can collect lunar rocks and dust for analysis on Earth. Pack up your tools and samples once you've finished your business to the moon, and then board your lunar lander for the return trip. And that is all there is to say about today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed this video. Click the bell icon to see more thrilling videos like this one, and visit our channel to see more amusing videos. Thank you once again for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed, and we will see you in the next video.